Hello everyone, welcome back to Think Lab by Saurabh. So in today's video, we are going to understand end-to-end agentic AI pipelining. So if you think that an AI agent is just an LLM answering the question, so then this video will completely change your understanding. So modern AI agents don't simply generate the text, they understand the goal, they create the plan, they remember the previous information, they try to retrieve the knowledge, they use the external tools, and then they verify their own work, and finally they learn from every interaction. So let's understand the complete pipeline step by step. So step one, user request. So every AI workflow start with the user request. For example, a user may ask, analyze this sale data and prepare the presentation, or book my flight or hotel for the next week. So the request can be simply, maybe the simple or very complex. So this becomes the starting point of the entire pipeline, right? Step two, intent understanding, right? So this intent understanding, that is the second step. We try to understand the user real intention. This is much more than the reading the words. The AI try to answer the questions like, what is the actual goal, what constraint has the user given, what output format is expected, right? Does the user want a report or a chart or some kind of PowerPoint presentation, or simply an explanation? So this stage convert the natural language into a structured task. So without correctly understanding the intent, every following step can be failed. So now we are moving to the step three, task planning, right? So now the agent start thinking like a project manager. Instead of solving everything at once, it break the problem into the smaller tasks. For example, first collect the data, then analyze it, okay, then generate the chart, then write the conclusion, and finally create a presentation slide. So this planning stage makes AI much more reliable for the complex task, right? So planning is the biggest differences between the traditional LLM and the modern AI agent, right? So now we are moving to the step four, memory retrieval. So now the AI check its memory. So memory helps the agent remember the useful information. It may remember the previous conversation, user preference, past project, company policy, or real decision. For example, if the user always prefer the Python, so the AI doesn't need to ask again, right? So good memory create a personalized AI as assistant, right? So now we are moving to the step five, the knowledge retrieval using the RAG. Sometimes the required information is not stored in the model, right? So instead of guessing, the AI retrieve information from the external sources. So this is called the retrieval augment generation, or RAG. So the source may include the vector databases, maybe the PDF document, maybe the company's knowledge database, or API, or even the web search. So the retrieve information, becomes the additional context before the reasoning, right? So this, this part is reduce the hallucination and improve the accuracy. So this step is the step five is very important, right? So now we are moving to the next step, step six, the LLM reasoning, right? So now comes the intelligence of the system. So the large language model analyze everything. It has a called, it's a has been collected. Okay, so it can combine the user request, memory, retrieval knowledge, or the execution plan. So then decide the next action, right? So this reasoning process is similar to how human think before making the decision. So reasoning is where the AI transform information into the intelligence, right? That is also important thing. So now we are moving to the step seven, that is called with tool calling. So modern AI agent don't rely only on the language generation. They can use the external tools, for example, Python for the calculations, SQL for the databases, web browser, email service, calendar application, cloud API, or a file system. So the AI first decide which tool is required. So then it call the tool, then we try to call automatically. So this make the agent capable for performing real world tasks instead of only the answering the question, right? So now we are moving to step 8, the action part, right? Action execution part. So now the selected tools perform the actual work. So Python can write the code for executions. The database is for the queried. API return the data. File are generated or email or has been sent. So the AI collect all this result and continue the workflow. So this execution is where the planning become the action. So without execution, an AI isn't remain only the chatbot, right? Now we are moving to the step 9, the reflection and self-check. So this is the only one most powerful capability of the modern AI agent. Instead of immediately returning an answer, the agent check its own work. It asks the question like, did I miss anything? Is the answer is correct? Should I verify the calculation? Should I retry using another method? So this reflection stage, improve the quality and reliability, right? So many advanced AI system perform the multiple check before the producing the final answer. So now we are moving to step 10, the final response. So after the verifications, the AI generate the final response. So the answer is now more accurate, more complete, and supported by the reasoning. And also required here the memory, retrieval knowledge, and tool output. So this is the what the user finally receive. So continuous learning and evaluations, is also happen in this stage. The process doesn't stop after the response. The production AI system, continuously monitor themselves, and they store the logs, measure the latency, track the different costs, try to evaluate the quality, collect the user feedback, detect the failures, and finally improve the future performance. So this continuous learning loop help AI system become better over the time. So now we are going to compare the traditional LLM versus agentic AI. So let's try to compare it. So a traditional LLM, follow a very simple workflow. Simple is prompt, reason, and response. That is okay. That only part is in the traditional LLM. An agentic AI system follow a much richer process. They first try to understand, then plan, then remember, retrieve, reason, use the tools, then try to execute the process. And also each part is reflect, evaluate, and learn. So this traditional intelligence is what enable AI agent is to automate the real business workflow. So real world, if you take the real world example, so imagine you ask, prepare the quarterly business report. So a traditional chatbot writes some text, but AI isn't creative plan. Retrieve the company data, query the databases, build the different charts, generate the PowerPoint slides, and verify the number, and finally deliver a polished presentations. So this is the true power of agentic AI. Okay, we are going to summarize this video, right? So at the end, we got some conclusion. An LLM is only one component of an AI agent. Complete AI system combines the planning, memory, knowledge retrieval, reasoning, tool uses, executions, reflection, evaluation, and the continuous learning. So if you want to build production ready AI application in 2026 and beyond, understanding the pipeline is essential, right? So I hope this video help you to understand how modern AI agent actually work behind the scene. So if you found this explanation useful, so please like the video, share with your friend, and subscribe the Think Lab by Saurabh. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.